Welcome to episode 46 of We Have Issues. I'm Anthony.
And I'm Stevie Wildcard.
And every week, Stevie Wildcard and I get together and we do our best to just become a face hugger and plant ourselves into someone's digestive system and then just burst through the chest of our problems like this. Like just hello. We Ace Ventura through a rhino of our problems, just like kind of warm in those problems. But yeah, we do our best to get rid of all of our issues and get things done. Most recently, it's been a semi-autobiographical time travel graphic novel musical, and still we're doing swimmingly superb. We're doing fantastic. We're doing an excellent job so far. So much so that we're basically, we have a readable book at this point, right?
Absolutely. We totally do.
So what did you want to get done this week?
I wanted to finish laying all the flat colors for the entire comic.
Wow. That's how many pages?
37.
That's what I thought. 37 in a row. How did you do?
I succeeded!
Yes!
I did it!
You're the best around! So that's amazing, dude. So what that means for those of you not paying attention to the last like 2 minutes of whatever we've been saying, that means we have a readable book in color now. We have all the lettering is done, all the basic colors are done. We could very well just publish this book and throw it out into the world as it is, and it would be an acceptable book for most people.
Mm-hmm. Especially with like the way that Play It Again is drawn with like the pencil style. It already kind of has like a shading effect going on.
For sure. Yeah, the pencil adds its own tones to the work.
Absolutely.
Like, right behind all of the flat colors. So you don't even technically need to do any shadows or whites. However, we're not here for the bare minimum. We don't want the like 15 pieces of flair on our comic book. Like this is going to, we're going to go. Although, I mean, that guy was basically the villain of Office Space. I mean, he was a villain in Office Space for sure. However,
oh man, he was such a dingus.
He was the worst character. But he's going to be like our Patronus here. He's going to be our guide into the world of this graphic novel because we're aiming high here. We're aiming for like the 99 pieces of flair on our book, and we want it to be as beautiful as possible. So that dingus is here for us, and we're here for him in this book.
He's our Sherpa on the mountain of coloring.
Just helping us up the mountain of graphic novellas, and we got
this. I will be there for you.
I'll be there for you.
Yeah, oh my gosh, his voice.
But it was so bad. So this week I wanted to record at least 2 songs. I'm gonna say I technically failed because I only recorded 1. But so failure for me. But I recorded 1. Do you think I should put it at the end of this, or should we just start saving our songs? I don't know. I don't know how to feel about it.
I think it'll be cool because this song is obviously very far from what it's going to sound like once we fully produce it. So, I mean, it's cool to have like those rough drafts.
People like that. That's a good point. So for anyone interested in hearing like the very rough demo draft of a song that's going to be on part of our album, I'll throw it after like the ending. After that, it'll be back there. You can find it. So check that out. I thought it sounded okay. It was a song that I wrote for my son's mom. Like I wrote it for her. I played it for her in person a couple of times. It was a touching song. It meant a lot when I wrote it. A couple of weeks ago or like a week ago, I found the lyrics randomly. I remember it like I was looking through some art stuff with Atlas and I just found a notebook and it was just like in a loose leaf sheet of paper on, in there.
Wow.
I was like, yeah, it was. So I was like, here are these lyrics. And I like, okay, I don't know what I'm supposed to do with this. Do I just eat it? Do I throw it away? Do I burn it? Do I give it away on our next Kickstarter? Which I didn't want to do. So I'll tell you what I did. I didn't actually consider using that song for Play It Again. But I looked at it and just like kind of remembered all the lyrics. And I was just like, when you have those like those weird like Dead Zone. Is that the movie with Christopher Walken, right? Where Dead Zone, where he touches people and he can see the future.
I believe so. I believe it was Dead Zone. Yeah. And
like, you have that like weird flash moment where you're just like, you're just like, oh, I can see everything that happened, but it's like, I'm seeing my own past suddenly. And it's like, there's like all these memories come flooding back. And it was like, oh, I remember playing this song. I'm like, oh, I remember exactly how it sounds. I remember all the lyrics. And I was like, I'm never going to do anything with this. And I threw it away. And so then flash forward to like a couple days ago. And I was like, that song was just in my head, just like stuck in my head the way I was playing it. And so I was just like, I guess it makes the most sense to be the proposal song for our story. It's like we need one anyway.
It is the proposal song.
Yeah, I mean, it's very similar. It's not the actual song I used when I proposed to Voldemort. it's a song that I played around that time, but it's not the actual song. And I felt weird playing the actual song, and I was like, that's a little too sad for me, I think. So I'm gonna go this route and do this song. But yeah, so I think it worked out. So if you want to hear that song, it's at the very end of our podcast here. But that's been pretty good. Otherwise, it's been a pretty busy and interesting week. We've had a lot of fun on Twitter lately. Dude, you've been doing amazing on Twitter, right? Like you got up to over 500.
I've been growing, man.
Yeah,
I think even when I recorded the AMA on Friday, and I think in the AMA I say 525. I think I'm already up to like 530 something now. I don't even know what it is. So I'm growing for sure. Considering I only had like 200 followers, maybe 3 weeks ago, I'm doing pretty good, man.
Yeah. So for those of you who don't know, Steven had a goal. He set a goal for 500 followers. And he said, if I get 500 followers, I'll do an Ask Me Anything AMA. He met that goal, and now it's exceeded that goal. So he's like, we released the AMA yesterday, right? Or
I believe it was Sunday.
Yeah, Sunday. So a couple days ago. So yeah, that's available on our channel for everyone to see. You can check it out, learn a little bit about Steven. You can see his incredible wife Tina there. It was a lot of fun. How's that been for you? Like, what was it like answering all those questions from people?
I'm actually very thankful. Like most of the questions were pretty tame.
Yeah,
there was a few prompted ones that like I foolishly didn't read into properly. But yeah, no, it was really fun. And I just hope I didn't like talk too much, because that AMA ended up being like 45 minutes long. So
I don't know. I like to think of it as like one day we're going to be like not as approachable. Like we're gonna still want to be approachable, but it's gonna be like there's gonna be more of a sea of people to get to us, I think. Like, because I think at one point, I mean, at some point you get so many messages. Like we're already part of a group chat where like I get so many notifications and messages from just our personal group chat that trying to also answer other people's messages is like daunting sometimes. Like I'm just like, I don't have any more like social energy or like time to like go through and sift through and see which things are actually like appropriate for me to respond to. I don't know, because like sometimes people just like throw nonsense to you like on social media, and like some of them are scammers, some of them are robots, some of them are just complete strangers throwing like advertisements. But anyway, like it's already kind of tough to navigate sometimes, and I don't have that many followers, so then it's like I imagine at some point in our life we're gonna get to the point where people are gonna want to ask you a bunch of random questions. I'm hoping. This is me being super hopeful and optimistic.
Like, no, this is not us assuming anything, but like, but it ever gets to that point.
But yeah, I'd like to imagine that there is a potential future in which like we are successful at what we're doing. Like this thing that we're doing takes off. We've been growing steadily. At some point, it could snowball. There could be an exponential growth based on some nonsense that we say. Maybe some like silly drama, or maybe just the success of our book coming out and people enjoy it. Like we don't know. We never know. No one ever knows. And that's why my whole point is just that it's cool to have the AMA no matter how long, just because it's you being vulnerable and truthful in this moment during this developmental stage, So it's like, obviously every stage is a developmental stage if you're doing it right, I think, But
and when else would I have learned that dolphins have prehensile penises? I mean, that's crazy.
Okay, so in part of our group chat, so if you don't know, if you ever hear us talk about having a sex call or onesie sex call at that, we just have this silly inside joke group chat that kind of spawned from the Weird Movie Wednesday that we've been doing. And in the group chat, it's just like we cover the topics just like any other friend group, where it's just like this ridiculous spectrum from like simple day-to-day like personal stuff to animal physiology. So,
as of late, it was the echidna and well, the dolphin was an AMA question, but still, like we're learning a lot about
we learn a lot about the animal kingdom penises. It's amazing. I didn't know that anything had a prehensile penis. I'm jealous now. I don't understand. It is like at this point, I feel useless. I'm like, I got this front tail and it can't even hold on to a banana. Like, what is this? Like, what's the point of this thing? Like, if you haven't seen and don't want to look up what an echidna's downstairs mix-up looks like, it looks like this. It's just a hand.
Not quite like this. This is a little big, but
it's more like yeah. It's not this. It's more like this, but it's still really interesting. It really is. Like I don't. It looks like it. Like I think were you the one who said it looked like a Hydra? Like it looks like
yeah. It just keeps
it looks
spawning
like
more.
Cthulhu. Like it looks like it's more like and the kittens are pretty adorable. So like you see them and you're like, there's no way that thing has like the like it has some otherworldly H.P. Lovecraft monster beneath its skin. Like yeah, it does. It does.
It absolutely does have that. I wonder if the other side has something to match that. I didn't look up that.
We did not look that up. I don't know. It has like 5 portals and they're all just like demonic symbols.
Summons echidnas.
Summoning the echidnas like private area. Yeah.
I forget what the family name is, but is it echinoderm or whatever? But they're the only member of their family.
Oh, really? I didn't know.
Yeah, that. They're just. I think platypus might be also, but I'm pretty sure they're the only. They're weird. They're weird, man.
Yeah, they are weird.
Yeah, they're mammals, but yeah, they're weird, man. They're weird creatures.
But yeah, so you did the whole AMA thing, and like you get to. You have a bunch of people asking you questions and people like bonding with you a little bit over that and like springboarding off of you. I think Damon was the one who kind of like started that snowball of the AMA questions. Like Damon's, if you don't follow Damon, like I'll post her link below. I don't know if she wants you to follow her. I don't think she does, but I'm going to post it anyway because I think she's hilarious. She's a fantastic writer and she's pretty amazing. So I'm going to post her link down there. She was the first person to kind of get the AMA video on Twitter ball rolling. And so people like, so you jumped off of her and people were jumping off of you. And it's just fun to like see that. Like,
it's awesome, man. Like, and that's just great. I mean, like, that's how, like, let's be real. Like, we're all like, we all have so much distance between us. It's really cool to make everything a little bit more, personal, like and understanding and learning, like they're who they are. It's fun.
See, like that's so interesting. Like, isn't it? It's odd though because like me as a human person, like outside of Twitter, like you've experienced like this conversational this is just how I talk sometimes, just like how I am, and then like you've experienced me at like my darker moments where it's just like super introspective and like sometimes a little too dark and sometimes a little too heavy, and like you've seen this full spectrum of me. But you ever think about like how there are people who are just drive-by judgers, like people who are just like driving by your social media, just like seeing you talk about like a turtle dick or something. And they're like, oh, he's turtle dick guy, like TDG over here. Like, let's get out of here. Like don't want to do it. But I
gotta be honest though, Anthony, I gotta be honest. I'm pretty sure I was Dino Dick guy.
You were
most of them.
So if you don't know, Steven drew this incredible picture, which was used this week on the Don't Make It Weird podcast. So if you haven't seen it, go check it out. And Sean used it as his background in the podcast.
That's amazing.
So it's hilarious. But I'll post a picture here just because now we totally can show this. But yeah, so you were just Dino Dick guy to people for a while, and it's like. Like I know, like what I was just saying about me, I know you're not Dino Dick guy.
Dude, that was like the first time I've ever drawn a male genitalia.
And it was so many. It was just it was a whole new.
It was
world.
like you got to hit the ground running. I think
Yeah,
but
it didn't make sense not to live for fun. Your brain gets smart, but your head gets dumb.
So much to do, so much to see. So let's draw some Dino D's.
but yeah, but like, isn't that funny? So I feel like you've already like surpassed that. In general, like to most people, I'm sure there's still going to be some people who see that post randomly and are just like, Dino Dick dude.
Who's this guy?
Who's this Dino Dick dude? The triple D.
I was so afraid I was going to be typecasted. I was like, this is it.
I think about that all the time. I think about that all the time, Steven, because like I don't know if like you've seen me on Twitter and like basically I just like I have like a shower thoughts dad joke Twitter and I randomly pitch movies. Like I don't know. I just whatever thoughts come to my mind, I just throw them up. I have no second draft thoughts on Twitter. I just go like, this is it, and I just throw it at the world, and then people either like it or they don't, or they just like ignore it completely.
Or start a fight with you.
Or start a fight with me, Steven. So I was at work. Okay, I was at work today. And a customer came in and she was like kind of nice to me. But I was like, I would not assume what you're doing is flirting, but I'm wondering if maybe you think it's flirting. So I was just like, so I was going to my head and I was just like, I don't know in a lot of cases, how you're supposed to tell the difference between someone just being nice and someone flirting, unless, I mean, there are obvious tells, but I'm talking about the more subtle things, like the passing where someone is giving you an in, they're like holding the door open, but they're not like waving you in. You know what I mean? Like someone's just kind of like, you're like, oh, what do you think of my painting? And you're like, did they want me to step inside? Do they want me to, do I just look for, I can see it from here. I just kind of comment on the painting, you know, like, so. But for me, I don't like taking those, like, first of all, I don't like taking those chances. Second of all, I don't want to make anyone uncomfortable ever. You know, like if I can just avoid this, I'm just like, you're just a nice person. Everyone's so kind, you know?
You need to lay it down thick if you want me to throw anything back.
100%. You need to literally just like write it down. Like, I like you. Do you like me? Yes or no? Put it on paper, put it in front of me, and I'll be like, whoa, okay. Even then, you better don't use Y and N because I will come up with some other nonsense. Do you like me? Y or N? Do you like me? Yesterday was really rough. I had a hard day. Like, well, okay, like Neanderthals aren't actually related to us, but some science suggests. No, I don't know. But anyway, so
the best part is if you wrote both of those out, but then also added a maybe, and then just checked maybe anyway.
So I wrote on Twitter and I was just like throw it to, I wanted to throw it to like the social sphere and be like, hey, what is like I'm going to cast a wide net and be like, hey, how do you guys all, like, how does everyone define flirting? How does flirting work for you? Like, how can you tell that someone's definitely flirting or not, or blah, blah, blah. Almost every response is like very cool, understand, like not just understanding to me, but like also just receptive and like bonding in a sense where they're like, yeah, man, sometimes it's rough because sometimes it seems like people are being nice. Sometimes I'm being nice, but people think I'm flirting, and like, you know, like people are just having that conversation, which is great. That's all I was hoping for, is just like a little perspective, know that we're not alone, know that we're all kind of doing this weird dance of language around each other, hoping for the best, you know? And then like someone retweeted, like quote tweeted what I said. And they were like, every time I see a post like this where people don't understand flirting, I wonder if they even see flirting in movies. Like, what? Do you think it just happens? Like, do you think that they're just suddenly together? I'm like, whoa. So I was like, okay, well, first of all, you could have just asked me. You could have been like, hey, do you have the same issue? Like, you could, I'm literally right there. Like, what you just did, it would have actually been easier to
there was more steps. There was actually more steps than what you did. You took
an extra step to dismiss me from the conversation that you decided to say. Like, you entered a conversation with yourself, like, judging me while saying you wonder about something about me and people who feel this way. Like, so
you know who can answer that question about me really, really well? It's crazy. I'm gonna tell you.
I'm gonna tell you.
Me.
Yeah, this guy right here has 2 thumbs and is gonna use them to block you. This guy. No, it's crazy. So I was just like, I started like writing this like kind of snarky response back, where I was just like basically
the good old Anthony snark.
I was like building up inside of me. I couldn't talk to my mother, so I talked to my diary. But like, no, I was just like, I had this anger going. And I was like, I don't want to respond to things in like a really angry way. So I was just like, I'm just gonna block it. Like, I'm just gonna block it. I'm gonna block this person. So I blocked them.
Like, you held back on that SNES controller and you blocked.
I did.
That attack.
It's almost never effective, but it has its moments and it has its purpose.
Well, but let's give her some credit. Like, here's the thing about us. Like, we're not from like a big city. Like, where we're from in Florida, even though typically, and I'll be honest, the impolite people aren't from Florida. So like we're very, hello, how are you doing? Like, really kind of in your face down here. So I think if you and I like went to New York City, I bet like everyone would think we're flirting with them because we're just being Floridians.
Yeah.
We're just like, hey, how are you? Like, get that out of my face, boy. What you doing? Like, you know, like
that's probably true. But I thought it was such a strange and like unnecessary step to assume that because I'm questioning whether or not something can be flirting, I never understand flirting in movies.
Yeah, that's a pretty big leap. That's
like okay, the context of a movie is that there is going to be a relationship. You know what I mean? Like when I
it's not even flirting, really. It's just a guarantee at that point, right? Like, you're going in knowing that these two characters are entwined. Like,
100%. I mean, even not seeing, like, even if I didn't see the trailer, even if I know nothing about the movie, if a movie begins and I know I'm watching a movie, there's a very good chance that there are going to be these relationships in the movies. Not to mention the fact that it's written with the intent for us to understand, because it's very much a movie. It's
You got to write a movie now, Anthony, where you basically go, do you even know what flirting is? Like you just have to like really pound it home, and like, and then the characters don't get together because they didn't know what flirting was.
What flirting is. But it's
real
it's
scenario.
Because, like, to me, that kind of response just suggests that like that is a person who thinks it's always a surface level, like, oh, you're so cute, and like that kind of thing. It's not. Like flirting very often, like when you're having, like, even if it's not considered flirting or is considered, I don't know, it's up to the person's subjective, but like very often those interactions are kind of like subtextual. It's like you're not even talking about going out, you're not talking about like the other person, you're not complimenting them, you're just having a conversation with the, like, that's kind of building on this weird connection that you both are feeling inexplicably, you know. And it's kind of like you feel these things out, and like it's just so interesting that like when you're actually flirting with someone in like real meat space, you know, like in the outer net, you know, when you meet someone, you're having these conversations in the wild. You know, when you meet someone, you're having these conversations. There's just like ineffable vibe that you're having with them sometimes, and sometimes like sometimes you're just like talking about a movie, or just like sometimes it feels like flirting when two people are like looking at the same thing in the grocery store, or like whatever. Like you can do so many things. I feel like it might be a little harder now because Blockbuster's gone. I feel like I could have hung out in like the horror movie section and just been like, someone's gonna show up. Like someone's
I got this.
Okay,
I got this
eventually. Yeah. So no, but anyway, but it's funny because like in person, you're often, I've never been like, oh, you have really beautiful eyes. I've never like obvious flirting stuff. I've never been like, yeah, how much does a polar bear weigh? Google it. Let's Google it together. That's not how that goes.
That's not smooth at all. You want to Google the polar bear's weight? What are you talking about over there? Just walking up on me.
You know
that practice.
You know that one though, right?
No, I'm assuming it's something smooth.
It's how much does a polar bear weigh? Enough to break the ice. How you doing?
Okay,
Which by the way, polar bears live on the ice, baby. Like
they don't break ice ever.
Like if anything,
they carefully walk across it.
They are very dainty. They are fragile. They are superb, dexterous walkers. I'm sure. I don't understand who came up with that. Probably someone who was much cooler and smoother than either of us. But still,
Orca would have been great because they intentionally break ice to get
break ice to destroy
penguins. That's their life is breaking ice. How much does an orca weigh? That's so much better because they weigh a lot more too.
Hey, are you one of those newfangled fridges that have all the like they look metal and they're like you look like a robot? No, what? Because they break ice. Not
you
good.
Look like a TC-180 in a Frigidaire. What? You crush it. I mean, yeah, you break it.
Did you just call me a fridge? Call me frigid? What?
I think we need to start a new segment of like bad pickup lines, Anthony.
Just bad pickup lines,
but like not even like your typical bad pickup lines. Like you're just like us bad pickup lines. But no, I get what you're saying, and I think it's funny. Like just like I feel like one of the more beautiful things about the younger generation getting older is like how we understand that everything has nuance now, and that, you know, there's no black and white anymore. Everything has a spectrum. Like everything can be valued separately, differently, and beautifully. And it's just so funny to me that like we can accept that in so many other like social dynamics, but like flirting is crazy. Like flirting is black and white. Like that's not.
And that was the thing. Like that's what like grinded all the gears and like got me like pumped up and mad, you know. I was just like ooh, because, and I blocked that person. I posted a thing where I was just like if you don't understand the potential complexity of freaking subjective social interactions, like how wait, okay, here's the thing. If you think that you're always on top of every social situation, you need to read the room. Like you are missing some stuff, because like I know for a fact I will ask the dumbest questions. I have no shame when it comes to like asking about like what something means. Because like I know every once in a while I will misread something real hard. But it's almost always like it's almost always something that's like really ambiguous, you know, or almost like I'm not sure what you're responding to here. Like like sometimes things get lost in like too many people talking at once or whatever. But like, dude, I can't imagine being someone who's just like, I'm so confident that I always like, no, what are you talking about? Like, I can't imagine being the person who thinks that like their individual perspective about something that's like crazy subjective is always right. Like that's great. Like, no, it's a bunch of people who are all trying to translate one another at the same time. No one's not everyone is speaking your language, and if you're assuming that they are, you're wrong, and you need to try your best.
You're arrogant jerk is what you are. You are imposing on others with your
and I think that, and it's funny because like there's I forget what it was called. It's like a dynamic paradoxalism. It's like the idea of like, yeah, because what I'm saying right now can also be turned against me and be like, oh well, what you're saying is that she needs to be someone who's like you. I'm like, yes. But the reason that it's more sensible for me to say that is because what I'm suggesting is that she just simply takes on more perspectives. You can't say that one person who demands that everyone has a singular perspective is right, and the person who says, no, maybe we should all be like multifaceted and like consider, multitudinous perspectives, like is wrong. That's insane. Like we need to stop. Like that's crazy. I'm right. I think I should be the president at this point. This is stupid. No, I'm kidding.
We don't want to learn what presidents learn, though. Remember, like,
oh my God, David, I know. Yeah, that was a funny conversation. So okay, we don't talk politics on our show ever, and we never will. I feel like we just as a people need a break from it every once in a while. But like Steven and I, every once in a while, we'll get together and like we assume that once you get to a certain level of authority within any government, you are taught some sort of knowledge that just breaks your brain. Like you can't.
It's literally every president's like, this is like inauguration day.
Yeah.
And then like, dude, like 2 months in, it's like it's just terror.
Sitting in a dark room, like turning the lights on and off. Like, oh,
what did you learn? Too much is what I learned.
Yeah. So like we always come up with like these silly conspiracy theories about like what it could potentially be. So, but that happens. Private conversations between Steven and Anthony. But yeah. Otherwise, I've been having a pretty good week. I've been thinking a lot about I guess I could do like a quick pitches get stitches about it.
Ooh.
What we do because we haven't done one. In
Sorry, that was like almost like a hymn from Powerpuff Girls. Ooh, I just dropped because I haven't had a pitches get stitches in a long time.
I'm gonna give you two. I'm gonna give you two short pitches get stitches. Like I have two, and I just want to get them out there because like why not? We haven't done them in a while. So
all right, and ladies and gentlemen, Anthony LaFusi in pitches get stitches.
Okay, so I'm gonna give you the first one. I'm gonna give you this one first because I don't have a name for it. It doesn't have like some clever like jab at the end. There's no hook, baby. Like, but I'll tell you what there is. Okay, I can't stop thinking about it. I'm gonna call it Let's Rob a Bank. Okay.
Okay.
Because I can't stop thinking about this, Steven. I grew up poor. I grew up like I don't have money. Like I grew up not having much, like we go through, like a lot of people I'm sure like grow up like oh maybe the lights aren't going to be on this month. Like maybe won't have water or whatever. Like so every once in a while I go through it. And I'm like, why am I working this job? I should just rob a bank, right? So. No, here's the thing. So like I'm not your average Joe like gonna put a hat on and walk into a bank with a gun in my pocket and a note and be like, give me that money. So I was like, how would I rob a bank? And what I discovered, Steven, is that what I would do is I would Miss Doubtfire the bank, Steven. That's what I would do. I would Miss Doubtfire the bank. I would get the best prosthetics I could possibly have, form prosthetics over myself, create, an old woman probably. I'd probably go straight Miss Doubtfire, like old woman, complete opposite of what I am, and go in there and just be like, give me all your fucking money, and just like literally like okay. So this is because here's the thing. I'd leave. I have all the money. I rip off my prosthetics. I'm free as a bird, baby. Like I have all the money, everything I ever need. I robbed the bank, and now they're looking for Robin Williams as an old lady. Like they're not looking for me. And
there's no way what you're saying is the accurate description. Okay, there's no way an old lady just walked in here and screamed with that voice and took that money.
So okay. So like the way Let's Rob a Bank will go is, I have a little bit of like story issues. So what I'm thinking is they're going to need the money in like a hot roddian sort of way. Like someone in the family is sick, right? You have to justify robbing a bank. You can't
you have to fall for the main character. It can't be a selfish reason.
That's right. Like The way I see it, there are two ways you can go. You can either go like he's someone who works at the bank and doesn't like his job and realizes that like his bosses are like corrupt and jerks, and he knows the like actual insurance policy, so he knows no one's
the office space conundrum.
The office space conundrum, right? So like he knows what will happen if he steals a certain amount of money, right? Like so like you're creating like stakes there because like it's his job, so it is close to him, like you know. But he does, but you're also excusing the like you know the villainy of the theft, right? Because because you can have the character, you can have the character in one sentence say like, oh well, you know, we know we're covered by insurance. I kind of wish we'd get robbed, something like that. You know, like one of those things. The second thing is someone's sick, someone's getting hurt, someone's dying, and he like so he needs to like he needs money to afford the blah blah blah, whatever it is, doesn't matter. So he has to rob this bank, but he knows that someone who works at the bank, so he's just like, you know, same in. But what I'm imagining is the main character wouldn't have the knowledge of like making incredible makeup. So what you do is you go find like a like Danny McBride type, like someone who's like in their backyard filming like a bad horror movie, like who's like he's terrible with story, can't write for his life, he's like brass and like ridiculous, but he's amazing at making like at doing makeup, you know. So like you get him involved and you're like, I need your help. I can help you.
He's like, I got you, buddy.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, but he's just so basically, like the main character would be like, "Hey, I can help you produce your movie. We're gonna rob this bank." He's like, "Rob a bank, produce a movie. I'm in." You know, like, so you have those two guys, then you have like the meek guy or the you know like women or whoever. You know, like there has to be like at least four of them, I think. So they all get all dressed up, like they go through their whole like fun montagey like practice runs of like the makeup and stuff to get their characters in order. So they all get their like costumes on, right? And they go to rob the bank, and like the Danny McBride character, like the brash one who's just like in your face, basically does the thing I said that the grandma would do. So he's dressed up as this old granny, and he's like, no, man, we got to put masks on. It has to be like authentic, you know? So it's like a bunch of grandparents wearing like ski masks and stuff. So
over the prosthetics.
Yeah, over the prosthetics. Yeah. So like they run in, they have ski masks. So that way it seems like, you know, they're actually robbing banks. So he goes in, he holds out the gun. He's like, everyone put their hands up, and he goes to pull off the mask, but he pulls off half of his prosthetic. So it's like half of his face is just Danny McBride.
This horrifying like, old lady McBride.
Well, and then it's just like they're stuck in this like weird scenario where like people see him and they're like, do they recognize him? I don't know. Like, you know, what do we do? How do we get out of this? Now it's a whole different scenario, you know. So anyway, so like story
bare minimum, they know that they're all wearing prosthetics now. I mean,
exactly.
Absolutely, that's hilarious. I just wanted to share because you were all these like plannings and stuff like this. There's just a side thought I had just to kind of peer into the mental madness of my father. But I'll never forget when I was like 12 or 13 years old, my dad was just sitting there and he's looked at me, he goes, you know, if you ever wanted to kill someone, you should just go to a hair salon and collect all the different hair samples from like their dumpster and then just throw them on the crime scene. I'm like, it's a good point, but Jesus.
Oh, wow, Dad.
Why are you thinking about that, Dad? Like,
I'll tell you why he was thinking about that. You know what happened? Okay, when you were younger, your mom was like, Steve, you need a haircut. And he's like, I'm okay, I don't need a haircut. And she's like, Steve, you need a haircut. And he's like, I look good, Dad, but like, don't make me get a haircut. And she's like, I'm taking you to get a haircut. She takes him to get a haircut. He's sitting there, and the barber's just talking. The barber's just going on and on. Your dad, not listening. Dad, not only is he not listening, he's looking around. He's seeing the hair on the floor. He's hearing this guy behind him talk about God knows what. He's like, I got to take this guy out. I can't be listening about his daughter or whatever.
Deal with this.
I don't even listen to my daughter. I'm not going to listen about his. I can't. So I'm pretty sure that's how your dad formulated this whole
his murder scenario where he uses other people's hair to contaminate the crime scene.
There's some old Italian man. There's some Sal somewhere in a grave right now who was taken out by your father,
covered in other people's hair.
So the second one I posted about this on Twitter. I like this idea. Okay, so like the idea, I'm gonna use Danny McBride again because like I haven't seen him lately and like I love this guy.
He's hilarious.
Okay, so imagine like a Danny McBride, but he's stuck as like a middle manager in like a department store, right? He's just like wearing a tie, plain like yellow shirt, like every day, just like taking returns from old ladies, just like doesn't want to do this anymore. So it like he's just like fed up and he's pissed off, you know. So one day he like goes in the back of the store, like warehouse, whatever, and he sees that there's like a package and it wasn't supposed to be delivered to the store. And he's just like, I'm so sick of having to deal with everyone, you know, throws all these issues at me and it's my job to take care of it. And he's like throwing it around. So like the package opens up and a mask falls out and it's like a luchador mask, nice. You know, like a wrestling mask. And he's just like, oh, this is so important, you know, like puts it on just like kind of like taunting, like, oh, if you think this is your mask, and he like puts on, he's like, my mask, you know, it's like running around. When he puts this mask on, he suddenly has powers. but the powers he has are all based on wrestlers. So he just has like 12, I don't know, like 10, let's just say, like he has like 10 different powers and like abilities and attitudes from 10 different wrestlers, but they're all the bad guys. So like
heels.
Yeah, they're all the heels. So he constantly like, so he puts this thing on, he's just like, what do you think? You can do better than me? And he's like elbow dropping like grannies and stuff, you know? So like he just goes
like
out.
The worst, like best thing.
Exactly. So like, yeah. So like he's stuck just like with all these like cheesy one-liners. He can't get the mask off, but like now he's just like several bad guys wrapped up in one, you know? So, and first of all, I love that idea. I just think it's so
hilarious.
Silly. Like, I just think it's so silly to have someone like Danny McBride just like stuck in this mask, but it's making him this like superhero villain wrestler guy.
His elbow dropping grannies and
I
pile driving children.
And I thought it would be so funny if like, okay, so like an alien comes down and it's just like The Rock, like it's like a very handsome like wrestling hero, basically, you know. It's just like, and this guy, like, so this guy's there, he's the very chiseled like John Cena, like he is the hero, the Superman of the story. Yeah, but he's out to get that mask back. It was supposed to go to him. It didn't, you know, his whole plan is to take over our world, you know? So like, he's actually the villain, but he looks like, and like sounds like the hero because he's the hero of his world. He's the Thanos of this wrestling like universe.
Yeah, you know? Got you.
So he is like the hero who thinks he's like taking over. He's like, I'm going to solve the world's problems. I can do better. And, you know, but he's like the worst guy. Whereas like Danny McBride,
he's a good old Captain Hammer.
Exactly. So, but like Danny McBride, meanwhile, is just like the villain of the story, but he's actually going to be the hero who has to thwart, you know, the other guy. So like, I just love that idea, and of course, like through the story, to give the people a story, be like Danny McBride has like issues with like identity, issues with like, you know, his father, and wants to have some purpose in his life, so like he needs to heal. So it's like. So it would be called The Heel, you know? But yeah, so that's that idea.
I love it. The Heel.
Yeah. So The Heel. So it's like someone who's going through
perfect.
trouble.
No, it's perfect. Yeah.
Villain. I just think it would be so much fun, dude. I can't stop thinking about Danny McBride just like with that mask on, just like as a villain.
Like, and the thing is, man, we just need to sell enough comics to get production money like that and just produce these.
Oh, dude, even if it was just like shorts, I would love it. I just want to like someone, okay, so recently I had a dream. No one ever cares about like other people's dreams. I know. I get it. There's a whole Seinfeld thing where, do you remember that? I forget who says it. It was Jerry. So someone says, Jerry, I had this dream. And he goes, was it about me? And they go, no. And he goes, I've lost interest. But like, I know, like, you know, it's hard to like sit through, but like, I'm not going to tell you the whole dream, but I had a dream in which like John Lovitz showed up and he was like, I can give you $10,000 and you can quit your job and make comics. And I was like, I love you, John Lovitz. You're amazing, you know? So I posted about that on Twitter and people were like, you can quit your job for $10,000? Now, here's the thing. The reason I think and I believe that I could quit my job for $10,000 isn't because I think $10,000 could last me the rest of my life. That's insane. What I think is $10,000 could last me enough time in the year where I can take off work and work on books and do things specifically to build a career elsewhere.
Invest in yourself, basically.
Invest in myself. So, and I believe in myself enough that, yes, if I just randomly had $10,000, if you're out there right now and you're like, I don't believe you, person who thinks you can get away with having $10, like, give me $10,000 and watch me do it. Like, I swear to God.
For perspective, I work 42 hours a week, and the play it again pages, like penciling those pages, was averaging about 3 to 4 hours. So that means that if I didn't work,
yeah,
I would and you add in the time where I was actually working on the side too. If I just made that my work week, that's 10 pages a week.
Yeah,
I could have penciled. You know what I'm saying?
That's
like for
3 weeks.
perspective.
Like that's a book a month. Like that's how people
easily a book a month. You know?
Easily. I think after this book comes out, we talked about this privately, but I think we're gonna get to like a bi-monthly book or issue.
That's our goal.
Cycle. That's our goal. We're gonna try our best. I mean, at the very least, it should be 3 months. I don't. I think we like for Deathless. I want to try to consolidate as much as possible and like get it done. You know, because we're here, like we're really building momentum. Like people are following us. You're subscribing. If you're not subscribed, please subscribe right now. Like hit the subscribe button. We really do appreciate it. We love all of you. We've been like building pretty gradual, like pretty recently.
It literally hasn't stopped. It's literally kept like pretty much the same pace.
Yeah,
which is great. I'm
really thankful for it. So if you're one of the people who subscribe to our podcast, really just know that we're appreciative. Like we love you and we are thankful. But yeah, it's been growing steadily and it's really nice. So I think that like we are making the kind of progress that seems to suggest that at some point we're going to be able to do this more and more and more, you know, which is really great. And I think that as we release more things, we're going to have more of these opportunities. You know, like I think once Play It Again is actually out and people can read it and they can see the potential in what we're doing and who we are, they're going to want to join us for our further shenanigans. You know, like I think that Deathless is going to be something special, just like this is something special. It's like the whole Chasing Amy thing. Like I finally had something personal to say, you know, like there's like these books are all personal and creative and interesting. I love what we're doing. I'm so proud of both of us, you know. So like,
it's amazing.
Yeah, it's been great. I'm glad everyone's joining us for this. Like, and people email me now. Like, I get messages where people are like, you know, thank you for talking about that stuff. Like, I really appreciate it, and like, I identify a lot with this, and like, you know, it's just like I'm getting these really appreciative and really just meaningful and just freaking amazing messages, dude. And like I don't know, we always hope that people like, you know, respond in that sort of way, and like that what we're saying touches people in some way, or, you know, people feel a connection to us the way we were hoping, you know, because we just want to build like community, we want to build friends.
Exactly what we want. I mean, it's been the goal since the beginning is to have an ostrich colony. I mean, that's literally what the running gag is of our whole thing, you know, like, and like I've said like numerous times even in the chat, like it sounds like a joke, but like if I had that kind of money, I would legit have an ostrich farm that would have acreage and people would live there. That's like 100%. That's exactly what I want.
People would live there too. Okay, speaking of people, speaking of cool people who we've met who are totally welcome in our colony if they are interested. If you haven't seen the podcast or heard the podcast 2010 Minutes, you should check it out. Steve and I did the intro for this week's episode, and it was a lot of fun. Tim McCarthy's a really cool guy, and what he talks about is really interesting and very much like in the vein of what we were just saying, where he relates like I relate very heavily to a lot of what he says about mental health, and like his personal struggles are very similar to my personal struggles. And I mean, as much as I hate to bond with someone over that thing, it is nice to not feel alone. And he's really great at being like a very personable and like vulnerable, but also just authentic dude. You know, like I really appreciate him and like what he does and what he does in the podcast community and just as a person. So yeah, we did the intro for this week's episode. So if you haven't seen his podcast, or if you have and you just forgot about it or just want to check it out again, go check it out. I'll post all the links below. He's a really cool guy and he's worth supporting. So everyone watch that episode. Otherwise, Steven, what are you doing this week?
Well, let's see. I guess this week is going to be the beginning phases of shading.
Do you have a page goal?
It's one of those things I have to start doing it to see.
It could go. I know,
because I could literally do all 37 pages in 3 days. Because when it comes to highlighting the skin and like the clothing and the backgrounds, it's going to go. That's going to go quick. It's going to be how much white do I want to add? Like how much do I want to incorporate from like Dean White's style from like Uncanny X-Force and those things. But yeah, I'm at least going to aim for 10.
Oh,
I'll put out 10. Yeah, I'll say 10.
Man, I hope you get 10. That'll be amazing. And then just send them to me and I'll put all the words. I'll marry them to the files I have. Oh, so cool. This is one of the weeks where my son goes with his mom, and I happen to have that day off, like the day off when he's gone. I have that day just off work. I have no real responsibilities that day, so I'm gonna do my best to record 3 songs, like to just get like I'm gonna do like that day. I'm gonna record the bare bones of 3 songs. Man, I'm so excited, dude. I'm so excited to get this done because like I think once we have like actual demo, like solid, like timed rhythm sections of songs that like you can have at your disposal, I can go over your house and we can just start building on them, right?
Exactly.
Like, so subscribe to our podcast right now. Hit the subscribe button, please. We appreciate it. No, so thank you all for listening. Thank you for watching. If you're only listening on one of the various podcasting apps, we are available on YouTube at youtube.com/wehaveissuespodcast. Go and subscribe right now. We need your help. No, we love you. We really do appreciate the heck out of all of you. We have all the links below. We have a Patreon where you can go and you can see all of our like Ask Me Anything, like we our Q&As. We let people ask us questions every week, and we like they're basically the same length as an episode every time. So this week we're not doing one, but I'm not gonna say that. But like every week people ask us questions, and like it's been a lot of fun. It's basically we release 2 episodes a week pretty much. So it's pretty cool. So if you're interested in Patreon, like all the extra bonus stuff and like getting to know things that other people don't know and super podcasty ostrich colony secrets, the links are below. Otherwise, we love you and we appreciate you. Thank you so much for joining us and taking the time to like get to talk with us and like listen to our weirdness. Please join us on Twitter and anywhere else and just let us know what you think. Let us know that you're listening and watching. It means a lot to us, and it lets us know that like it kind of lets us know what works for people and what doesn't work for people. Not that we're going to change anything because we're monsters, but still like it does help. It does like it makes me feel better knowing that like sometimes when we get a little weird or vulnerable, like it's not so unusual, because like I do feel that like you ever feel that pressure, like I have to be funny, it has to be funny, it has to be interesting and fun.
Oh yeah. I mean, I feel like that's my whole life.
yeah. I feel like the whole time I'm like if the people don't want to like date us, Steven, if they're not going to marry me, I'm going to die alone in the podcast, Steven. I don't know what to do. No, but yeah. So it does help. Like anytime like you enjoy something we do, let us know immediately, because we're both desperate for attention and we don't believe in ourselves anymore. We're trying our best.
Daddy, you love me.
But this has been episode 46 of We Have Issues. I'm Anthony.
And I'm Stevie Wildcard.
We'll see you next week. Remember, there's going to be a song after the...
Yes, there's a song.
There's a song. It's a song. It's kind of sad. It's not sad until you know that it doesn't work out. Like,
spoiler alert, Anthony.
Spoiler alert, not married.
I am just a man, you're a goddess, so tell me what you need. I'll do my best to make you feel complete. Gives me purpose, so give your heart to me. With a promise, you can have my heart. You'll treasure, you've only from the start. This life is but a day, we stay forever, and as each moment fades, we'll fade together. We are what we create. Life's a canvas, so take my hand and paint this picture of us. You can have my heart, I'll trade you. You've only from the start. Safe, this life is but a song, it won't fade away. Please don't fade away.
You want to Google the polar bear's weight? What are you talking about?